The third episode of Disventure Camp Season 5 has arrived, and well, it sure was an episode, alright. It was pretty decent up until the stupid ending that has probably the most contrived elimination in the series so far. How did we get to this point? Let's review this episode and find out. The episode begins on the Favorites team. We see Bruno gushing over being surrounded by Disventure Camp royalty, which was adorable. Spencer then forms an alliance with him, believing that he would be easy to manipulate, only for Bruno to be onto Spencer, and he states his intentions to let him think that he has control over him.
The man's a folk magnet! The perfect shield! Oh my god, how cool is it? I'm manipulating Spencer!
It also appears that the Silent Alliance has fallen already, which is a little surprising, given that they seemed pretty united in getting revenge for Aiden after he was voted out of the team. But instead, they're choosing to not take it personally, in order to have more options.
I'm not lying, Tom. Natalia's the one who threw Aiden's name out.
But I judge people on their character, not their gameplay.
Guess they all subconsciously thought that seeking new allies was the best option for their individual gains. Although I can't help but think that they are only doing this because the narrative said so, as sticking together was still technically an option. I mean, Aiden being the sole person keeping them together was just speculation. While this plot point feels a little contrived, as it contradicts the Silent Alliance's visible unity, it does allow the potential for new groups to form, which is far more interesting to see than a stubbornly loyal majority alliance consisting of close friends. For example, Gabby starts bonding with Natalia, although Natalia may have blown her chances with Tom by joking about flipping on him, even though he seemed open to working with her beforehand. Guess that explains this part of the intro. The other significant alliance that forms is the one between Rosa, Anastasia, and Lake. I thought this would likely happen, since Rosa and Anastasia had already become friends over the previous 2 episodes, and it's natural for Rosa to want to pull Lake in. What's nice is that we now see Anastasia bonding with Lake. I like that for Anastasia, this isn't just about improving her social game, but also trying to better herself as a person. And to think I thought that her story has already concluded. Silly me. And the best part about these interactions is that Lake is finally getting some more focus. I'm also curious about what she said about lashing out never working out for her. I could just be misremembering things, but I can't recall this happening during the time she was competing on the show. So I wonder if this is related to events in her personal life that could be explored. I also appreciate the acknowledgement that Lake was robbed both times she played the game. Okay, let's move over to the fans team, where Nura, still feeling guilty about what she said to Dunya in the previous episode, tries to bond with her through helping her gather items for her altar, and the two of them discover that they can actually get along quite well.
Are all witches this vague?
Only the best ones.
Who knows? Maybe the fans who shipped these two were correct about them. Plus, it's cool seeing Nura trying to improve on her negative attitude. The main focus of the fans team is Aiden wanting to work with Evie, still believing that she outsmarted Alec on the journey, and has won the advantage. Aiden, had you still not considered that Alec was lying, even for a single moment? It's especially baffling now that he can see her messy antics up close.
Where are your rocks?
You're kidding, right? I'm not touching those filthy things.
And so he tries to turn the boat onto Ernesto, claiming that he is a threat for some reason. And quite conveniently, Sam encourages the team to go along with this plan, which I'm guessing is another case of his subtle manipulation. Another big mistake Aiden has made here is that had the team united and burned out Evie unanimously, he would have had more options. But instead, he caused a division. Although he ended up on the right side of the boat, the people currently working with him clearly perceive him as someone that they could easily manipulate. So it's far from an ideal alliance to be a part of moving forward. I thought it'd be interesting if Aiden could finally learn how to actually play the game well after all of this time since season 2, but instead he is continuing to make boneheaded decisions. Although Ren tries to gather up a majority alliance to get Evie eliminated, Aiden oversees this and somehow convinces Manu argue that she does have an advantage, causing him to flip on his alliance, resulting in Ernesto getting eliminated in a close boat. While I figured that he would be a pre-merge boot, as his story can easily be wrapped up in a short amount of time, this elimination still feels completely contrived. Rather than the writing leading the narrative to this conclusion convincingly, it instead seems to forcefully have the characters turn on Ernesto, just because it's the result that's needed for this episode. There simply isn't a believable reason for the actions the contestants make here. Also, this line from Manu makes no sense.
If Evie's got that advantage like Aiden says, this is how I survive. Sorry, guys.
Dude, you were literally in the majority alliance, and you gave up on that guaranteed security over last minute information that didn't come with any proof. I guess the challenge was pretty cool. I especially love Ala's reaction to learning that it takes place on an actual volcano, and those plushies of the contestants are so adorable. I wonder if Odd Nation Cartoons will make official merch based off of them. Overall, I thought this episode was kind of mediocre, which is a shame, because it really did break the momentum of the previous one, and now I'm officially worried about how this season will turn out. While the pacing is continuing to get better, and there were certainly a couple of individual moments I enjoyed, that elimination and Aiden's idiotic gameplay was so bad that it ended up weighing down this episode's quality. I hope that the season could bounce back in the following episodes, but at the same time, I feel as though I need to prepare for the worst. Alright, now that the review is out of the way, it is now time for the power rankings of this cast based on the events of this episode. At the very bottom of the ranking in the number 22 spot is Manu. Gave up a spot in the majority alliance over some false information. He's screwed. At number 21 is Aluya. She was on the wrong side of the boat for a second time in a row, and she still acts overly awkward in her interactions with the other members of the fans. But she might overcome this adversity, maybe. At number 20 is Aiden. Dude has been given a new lease on life in this game, only to already blow his second chance with his messy overplaying. Although he might still have a character arc going on despite his self-inflicted bad position.
Playing nice last season got me voted off. There's morals I'll keep, but I can't make that mistake again.
At number 19 is Tom. Aside from telling off Alec, he is still not doing anything significant, other than being a goober. At number 18 is Evie. Despite being an easy target, Ernesto getting the boot instead confirms that she is sticking around for a while. At number 17 is Benji. Why do I get the feeling that some moments in this episode are foreshadowing his eventual elimination? Please don't let my gut instincts be correct in this case. At number 16 is Ali. It's kind of a red flag that she wasn't seeking out a new alliance right after betraying the Cyan group. At number 15 is Natalia, and she's back to being in a shaky position, but she does have a potential new alliance with Gabby, and maybe even with Tom as well, if she stops putting her foot into her mouth. Although if you ask me, she should still work with Spencer. At number 14 is Gabby. Okay, she might last a little longer if her potential alliance with Natalia works out. At number 13 is Finn. His presence in the show is getting smaller, but this could be for the sake of giving the other fans more screen time to develop. At number 12 is Ara. I mean, she's gotten a few more lines in this episode. At number 11 is Alec. While Alec still has that advantage he won on the journey, making new allies seem to be impossible for him. At number 10 is Fiore. While she has a better chance of surviving than Alec, she is still on the same sinking ship that he is on. At number 9 is Nura. Not only is she getting character development, but her relationship with Dunya could be a major storyline. At number 8 is Lake. Finally, they're doing something with her character. At number 7 is Anastasia. Not only is she playing better, but she is also getting some decent character development. At number 6 is Dunya. She may have been on the wrong side of this vote, but I'm definitely sure that she'll bounce back. At number 5 is Rosa. Although she took a backseat in this episode to allow Anastasia and Lake to bond, I still stand by what I said about her in the previous power rankings. At number 4 is Spencer. While I still think that he'll be a major player this season, potentially getting outplayed by Bruno will be a bad look. Also, why is he waiting until the next time the favorites go to an elimination trial to discuss teaming up with Alec and Fiore? Doesn't seem like a smart plan. At number 3 is Ren. While he may have lost the battle, she'll probably win the war, thanks to their idol. At number 2 is Sam. I can't quite tell what his intentions are in siding with Aiden. Guess it's a part of his risk versus reward style of game. And at number 1 is Bruno. You know what? He is who I think is most likely to win at this point. Bro's got main character energy. And that was my review of the 3rd episode of Disventure Camp Season 5. I hope you enjoyed it, and be sure to give this video a like, share, and comment. Also, subscribe to my channel and hit the bell for notifications. Anyway, see ya!